Welcome to another episode of the Advice First podcast here on Season 2. I am joined by two fantastic guests. We have Christopher Ingram with Prosperitas Financial and Mr. Eric Larson of Cobra Tactical. Eric, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Chris?
I'm wonderful. Yeah, I'm doing good.
I love to hear it. I was very excited to have you in the studio, Eric, as was Chris. I don't know that there's too many industries that have seen such a spike in interest, customer base, demand as the tactical industry, given a year like 2020. So really wanted to, 2020 aside, really wanted to learn more about what led you into the industry that you're in today and starting Cobra Tactical.
Sure. I come from a background, at the time I started Cobra Tactical, I was coming in from a background of geology, so I was doing that full-time as a consultant. I wanted to take part in some way the 9/11 event because as a former Marine, my choices were to possibly go back in the Marine Corps, which would be a real big pay cut. And so I decided to instead drive another company, create a company that can support some of the folks going over there. So I started talking to people that were being deployed. What did they need? What were they missing? And I got hooked up with some really great people, Navy SEALs, Marines that were getting over there, the U.S. Army, Air Force, everybody really. And I started making these connections through other people I knew from my former life in the Marines. And I decided to start this company, and it took me a couple of weeks to figure out the name, and I figured out Cobra Tactical. Yeah. And no, it didn't have anything to do with Cobra Kai or anything else. It was actually originated from the Cobra helicopters from my Marine Corps stuff. Oh. And so that's where that all came in, and so I was able to support these guys. So I would send boots to Navy SEALs on a mountaintop on a sap phone, which was really kind of cool. Or
no way.
I would send magazines over there, AR-15 magazines, and we'd package them up with cookies and toilet paper and whatever else we felt they need, toothpaste and whatever. And that was really cool. So we hooked up with another company, Aegis, and they started buying stuff. We started supporting them, so that worked out really well. Yeah. And we started getting into them. We moved our company into some manufacturing, so we started doing that stuff too.
Wow. What year did that all begin?
That was 2003.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
what was it? Had you run a business before? You mentioned being a consultant.
I had started to run a company doing geology, but I ended up going back to work for other companies in that same time, and then eventually I started to run my own company as a geologist as well.
Wow.
And then I did the two companies parallel, and then in 2009, Cobra Tactical was taking off much bigger. And my other company for geology was not doing that great because the housing market was coming down. So right when we moved to our new location, the housing market crashed. I lost a lot of jobs through geology, and Cobra Tactical was booming. Wow. So that was kind of crazy. Wow. So that kind of dictated the natural flow of things.
Yeah. But 6 years before that, transition finally happened.
Yeah, and then we started getting into, as well, like what we do today. In 2011, we started to get our FFL. We started to really move into the firearms industry. Before it was tactical supply for military personnel. And now that we do guns and ammo and all that stuff. So
yeah. That's phenomenal. We were having a conversation off air, and one of the other aspects of your business that I think is so fascinating and absolutely comes, with gun ownership is learning how to use it.
Of course.
Properly.
Yep. We strongly advise anybody, especially the newbies that are hitting the market right now, to get some training and get good training and vet your training instructors very well.
Right.
Yep.
And
it's highly important.
Where can somebody get training?
There's a lot of great places out there, but we also do training at Cobra Tactical, so you're welcome to come on down and check us out, see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
We do private trainings only. We don't do big courses. We do small groups. One instructor per 2 students is our mantra. We really emphasize that to give the student the best course.
I was going to say, what's the difference between a great training and a mediocre gun training?
Well, with the decrease in ammo availability and the increase in cost of ammo, we have to cut down a little bit of that ammo usage. But for new shooters, we don't like to inundate them too much with long days of shooting. So we usually run a 4 to 5 hour course, like one instructor, 2 students, and usually we have an assistant instructor to help us out there. We'll run through moving and shooting, drawing from holsters, things like that. So it's a little bit more advanced for most basic courses.
Yeah.
We teach a lot of safety. We touch on the laws to help people understand how they can store their guns, how they can do things. We do follow a lot of the NRA guidelines, but we're not necessarily teaching NRA courses, but we can. We're NRA certified.
Yeah.
So we could do that as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, as I'm listening to that, I'm kind of also thinking how that plays into your world, Chris, with the finances. Although, maybe the consequences aren't as extreme for mismanagement of the finances that you buy.
We say you shoot yourself in the foot, but it's just, it's not quite the same. I think it's a very much more serious on their end, for sure.
Without a doubt.
I'm curious, you were mentioning you started out in tactical supply, then went to firearms. How much of your business still is tactical supply versus the firearms and whatnot?
Probably 10 to 15%.
Okay.
Yeah, we do mostly guns and ammo, and like maybe one item removed from that, like holsters and accessory cleaning supplies. We do a lot of gunsmithing. We do other things at Cobra Tactical. We do gunsmithing, a lot of gunsmithing. We do Cerakote, and then the training. So that's our main thing that we focus on.
Yeah,
manufacturing is a big deal for us too. We just started to get into some defense contracting and stuff too.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a picture. You did like a Star Wars one the other day that you posted the picture of. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. We like to do that stuff.
Yeah.
It turns out well.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you do some custom guns then on the manufacturing side?
We do. So we have our own gun line as well. So we have our manufacturing line. So we call it the Cobra 15. It's an AR-15 style platform, and we have a lifetime guarantee on it. So we want to make sure our clients know that they're going to work for them, and that's the best way we can sell that to our clients, to make sure they know that it really does work. And so we stand behind our products.
Yeah,
that's important for us.
Absolutely. How many of your sales are would you say, what percentage are your in-house machinery versus outside?
I didn't understand your question. Like
our
online sales, or are you talking?
Sorry, how many of your sales are the guns that you manufacture yourself versus?
They're picking up. I would say we're probably in the maybe 30%.
Wow.
So we sell a lot of law enforcement guns. We're a law enforcement dealer, so we sell guns to everybody.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We take care of everybody. But because we do law enforcement, we also sell law enforcement ammo. So we have a pretty diverse. We have a lot of different people that do things at our company.
That's really.
We have, like I said, we have a full machine shop in the back, so we're constantly cutting parts, making chips, as we say.
Yeah.
We're doing engineering and design. We're coming out with some new products, so we're hoping to air those in the next few months.
Wow.
We work on different things like Benelli shotguns. We do customization on those, and a lot of people love that stuff. We're local, so we're right in Valencia, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to drive to Arizona to get some custom work done. And we stand behind our work, we stand behind our product, and that's a really big deal. And, we have good reviews online, so that's telling us we're doing something right.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, how do you finally take the jump of, you're selling guns and you're thinking, I could make one, right?
Yeah, that's just my mentality, because I love making stuff. Yeah, I always liked it. So we're an SOT, which is something you're not going to see a lot of in California. So we have a license to make certain things like suppressors, and yeah, so we're really liking this stuff.
That's unique.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it's not easy to get certifications like that.
Probably not.
You have to be pretty committed.
Yeah, it's a lot of headache.
Yeah.
And are you doing all the manufacturing or majority of it?
Right now we outsource most of it, but we're getting involved with more of it. Now that we have CNCs on site, we're starting to move a lot of this stuff in-house.
Got it.
Yep, and so in the next couple of years, it takes time. But we're seeing obviously a drawdown in supply chain from even our own suppliers that used to make our stuff. Some of them have gone out of business, unfortunately. You read about that online, I guess. So now that because of that drawdown, we have to source our stuff somewhere else, and there's some places just don't have what we need or the quality of what we want, and so we're making those things in-house now.
Got it. So adjusting to the market environment that's being thrown your way. So dive into that a little bit, because that's the big thing I'm super curious about, because I'm watching it from the outside in and not having my finger on the pulse like you do. What has gone on? Because I think a lot of people are confused. Was it COVID? Was it demand? What has been the biggest influencer of the change in the industry over the last couple of years?
I think it's a little bit of everything, honestly. You have the initial scare of the COVID back in early, March, I think, is when we first started to see a real big influx of this. Of course, 2020, right? We started to see some things right after SHOT Show, and that was in January. So we started to see some people talking, and then it started to grow, and it perpetuated, and we started to get calls from our distributors saying, you guys might want to get in on some of this buying that's going on. And we kind of got caught off guard, not knowing what's going on. And so we started to increase our buying and therefore our sales, and we started to see an increase in demand. And of course, then people started to really get sketchy about the COVID, because there was no mandates back then. And people came out and said you had to wear a mask and all this stuff. So that created an innate fear. And I think the natural instinct is for people to want to protect themselves. At the parallel of this, you saw law enforcement in our world, in America, facing some really tough situations, and in my opinion, being treated unfairly through the system, as a very biased system right now. And because of that, now they're cutting the law enforcement's ability to do their job. We won't get into that rabbit hole, but then what are cops going to do if they can't literally do what they're supposed to do? And we all know as gun people that the cops can't be there when you need them to be there, but there is a sense of security knowing that you have a good police crew around you. But 20-minute call times, these type of things, that's why we carry guns, that's why we want to own guns, that's why we don't want these gun laws to be passed, et cetera. We want to be able to be a free American and own our guns, to be able to protect ourselves in case something should happen to us. So all of that accumulates in the minds of Americans who are now interested. So we've had a wide diversity of people come in, though. You understand? There wasn't just the quote gun people coming in. It was a lot of people coming in for even the other side of the mindset. The anti-gun people were coming in buying guns. So now this is magnitude, so 8 or 10 magnitude people coming in buying guns, and when they get a gun, they buy ammo. So now you have a drawdown of ammo. So we saw law enforcement agencies calling us for ammunition. They couldn't get things, and then we couldn't get things because the chain had dried up. Because across the nation, people were stockpiling, agencies were stockpiling, civilians were stockpiling to make sure they had enough for the riot, the anticipated riot. So they drew down the industry, and there's no more supply, or very little and scarce, which is of course driving the price through the roof on guns and ammo, and which is not good. And yes, I would love it if people spend a lot of money on ammo, but it doesn't work that way in the big picture. We don't want to be, nobody could shoot, nobody could have fun doing it because it's too expensive for most people.
Right.
So we want to get everything kind of normalized again, but I don't see that happening for a little bit now. I don't have any real data on this, but it just seems logical that we've seen a couple of new startups come up with ammo and things. Not too many gun companies are coming in, but some ammo manufacturers are coming to the table, and that could be good if they do a good job.
Yeah.
But if they don't, that could be a problem too.
Yeah, how much was, somebody kept telling me, and I'm just going to use Mossberg as an example.
Sure.
They kept saying, they're not manufacturing. How much of it was that supply chain that
I think that's a big
they
part
just
of it.
stopped?
No, that's a huge part of it, even for like any part of this, whether it's a break in the chain. So you have a full manufacturing company, we'll call it Mossberg or anybody that's out there, and they're taking time off because they're following the rigid corporate law, if we will, of making sure their employees are safe, and that's all good and fine. But they're believing in all of the mask stuff and the time off stuff. And then, in all honesty, we didn't see the results that were told to us they would be on this COVID-19 stuff, thankfully, right? Because it was told us that, there'd be dead bodies in the street, but that didn't happen, fortunately. But because of that, there was this huge, epic failure across America, the shutdowns demanded by the governments, the governors, telling us to stay at home, and all of this stuff accumulated into this big, massive shutdown across the nation. So manufacturers, transporting companies, metal fabrication, all these people are out of work. And so that it takes time. And now our government, of course, is paying people to stay home, which is crazy. And so all of this is affecting us, right? So then you try to order something on through your supplier, and they just don't have the manpower to sustain.
Right.
And that's what you're talking about. They just can't get to the table, and therefore you can't get delivery. Then you have a company like a Remington that went BK. They went out, so they got bought back up. But that plant, Remington is huge for making law enforcement guns, civilian guns. The shotguns are in high demand right now because that's a good home defense firearm. Yes, you can't buy one; they're gone. Right. So now we're hoping that they come back, but it's going to be under a different crew, right? I think Ruger bought them up. So we have to look at that and say, what else is happening? So all these other companies got shut down. So new people will come to the table. It's still going to perpetuate forward, but this kind of drives forward too. You have this huge drawdown. You have lack of law enforcement and their ability of people walking off the job. All this crazy stuff going on in our world. Then you have these people saying they're going to take your guns. You're right, and then you have this huge demand and no supply. And that's where we're at right now. So we're getting stuff done. We're just not doing it at our level that we want to or our clients want to. Right. We just can't. There's no supply.
Yeah.
But we are getting guns in still. We do have a surplus of guns in stock right now, which is kind of rare. So we just got them in. So.
But how do you manage that inventory as a business owner? Is it first come, first serve, or you try to...
We do like a waiting list. We don't charge anybody up front. We think that's respectful of our clients. We just don't want to do that. We don't want to put our clients out. So if you want to put an order in for a gun that's not available, we literally tell you at this point in time, we have no timeline on that. But if we do, we have to have the gun in the store before we charge you for it. That's our rule. So I hope that answered your question. Yeah, it's just easier that way.
Yeah.
So but people want us to take their money and it doesn't make sense because literally I can't get a Beretta M9 or I can't get those things.
Right.
They're just not available. So if manufacturers want to send me their guns, then I'm good. I ordered a large sum of Benelli shotguns to get in for my clients, and that was over a year and a half ago, and I still haven't seen any. Wow. So it's just, we're not going to see anything like that.
Right.
And that's what we need. We need defense firearms for people that feel the need to defend themselves, and then to get training, and then ammo to do it. That's what we're all hoping for.
I'm assuming it's been equally as difficult to get materials in for your own manufacturing?
We've had some difficulty. It's lightening up a little bit, but we've stabilized a couple of our supply chains now in the last couple months. But up until then, it's been difficult. So things are getting better.
So what's that been like? I mean, I'm sure it's been stressful to say the least. You're trying to source and put together all of these pieces while running a shop that's open 7 days a week, 5 days a week. You have employees, you have a family, you have all the things of
it's a struggle, but somehow we pull it off. I don't know some days, but we, like I said, we had our best year last year, and we're doing great. So we're surviving. Our customers love us. They come back for more. And we take care of them. So we trick out their guns, we upgrade their guns, we teach them how to use their guns. We have a full service company in that sense. And then we do in-house machining to get things done on your gun that you would normally have to send back to the factory. So we could, deck a Glock, for example, and make it the way you want it.
Right.
And we have that ability. It took me like two months to find a titanium tube for a Benelli M4 shotgun, and I finally found them. So now we're making those. But 2 months to source material, and it's very difficult.
It's tough.
Yeah, and that could be a little hard. So we supplement. We do more, gunsmithing. So right now, as a good example, we do have a supplier for our lower receivers that are made for us, and our supplier was shut down. So we're bringing those now in house, but months went by before we heard from them, and that's really tough when we're trying to get supply. And upper receivers, we have some in-house, but we're not able to get new ones in, and nobody has them. Nobody has upper receivers for an AR-15, and so we have to then start making them ourselves. So we're doing billet, So we just you have to get creative And
Gosh.
at the end of the day, it's taking care of your client, and of course, it's we're a for-profit company. We do what we do to make money, but we love what we do. We're very passionate about what we do, and we've been here for a long time. Obviously, 2003 is when we started,
Right.
and but yeah.
Do you think that back when you formed Cobra Tactical, that you'd have all the avenues that you have today?
No, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't, but I love what I do, and it's evolved just the way I liked it.
I was going to say, it sounds like really more of a passion project than anything.
Yeah, they used to call it the hobby shop. That's what it started out, right?
Yeah.
And I love geology too, but this is very passionate of mine. I love it. It's great. I have a good crew of people working for us. They're all awesome. So yeah, it's a good crew.
Has it been hard to keep employees around? You mentioned, with the federal funding of paying people to stay at home, things like that.
Yeah.
Has that been an issue for?
No, our people love it here.
That's awesome.
They love it at Cobra's. No problems there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we make it a fun place to work too. We do company shootouts, company retreats, and we get out there. We have I hate to say it, we have a no mask policy at our store because we don't want to be robbed. Right. So
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. So they usually are. You can see a relief on their face when they come into our store. So,
Right.
Yeah. So a few months ago, right back in the 2020, somebody was told. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but somebody was told to come shut us down, and we basically verbally fought them off and said that you have no rights to shut us down because we're guaranteed under the Second Amendment, and they politely left, and that was awesome.
Wow.
So I think I got a little street cred for that moment.
Absolutely. As you should. That's incredible.
That was cool. That came twice. So
yeah. Who has the best shot on your team?
Oh boy, we have a few. My daughters. I'm going to call my daughters the best shot.
Wow. I love to hear that.
Natural shooters. They're 11. Yeah, so they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I will go on record and say that your staff is incredibly friendly and easy to work with.
I really appreciate
your
it.
wife is a pleasure to come into the shop, and she's super nice to everybody. I think you've picked the right people to run the shop.
Cool.
They're
Thank
very,
you.
very nice.
Glad to hear that. It really means a lot to me.
I want to go on one of these company retreats.
Let's go.
So how do I get tickets to it? I don't even need to participate.
You don't have to, man. We'll just tell you the location, GPS location, and meet us there.
That's awesome.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, so we go out like off-roading. We have a dog, so we get to train the dog. That's borderline fun, by the way. But we have a really amazing pup.
Work.
And a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so we do that. We have kids, so we play with the kids and we have a good time. And they're in school or not in school. It's hard to keep track. I think they're back in school now. So we just do things. Of course, to be honest, I do every day what I do because I love what I do. So I don't want to sound like a weirdo, but I love what I do. So it's like a vacation at work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress though, but. My watch now tells me I'm stressed, on things. So you got to get the work done. But I really do enjoy what I do. And so we do take vacations. I got to take the wife out more often, but
right.
And the kids.
Yeah, not everybody's lucky enough to do what they do and actually enjoy what they do. So that's a gift. Yeah,
it is a gift. I love it. And like you said, I work with a great crew of people, so we don't have too many inter-office issues. We always have some. Everybody has some, but we usually deal with them really straight up and we get them resolved, and that makes it a lot less stressful for me. And everybody wants to be there. So like I said, we do the fun thing for us is to share. I like to share things. So I like to be able to go out into the desert or something and have the company folks, my employees, come out there and have a good time. We have to eat well, and I like to share with that stuff. So yeah.
That is so cool. I absolutely love that.
Off-road motorcycling and camping and traveling and just seeing the sights.
Love it.
That's my world. What's on your radar other than getting inventory in? What's on your radar for the next few years?
We're definitely moving forward on more training. We're advancing that program. We're definitely moving into more manufacture, bringing as many things as I can in-house. That's a big deal for us. And that's I think that's about it. I mean, we're promoting our guns more. We're going to get those to market faster than we have been getting them. But things take time to ramp up. So we're in the process of ramping up for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Chris?
I got a question. So
Absolutely.
for the listeners out there, so you got a lot of people that are listening to this. Maybe they own one gun, maybe they own none, maybe they're a new gun owner. So they want to come to your shop, they want to purchase a gun. What would you tell them before they come to your shop? What should they be thinking about?
Sure.
And what is the importance of training before or after they purchase that gun? Like what little piece of insight could you give to those people?
Whenever you come to the gun store, you always want to listen and ask questions. Listen to what the gun people are telling you behind the counter. You don't want to finger a lot of guns. You don't want to dry fire guns. You definitely don't want to ever enter a gun store with a loaded firearm unless you're holstered and allowed to by law, right? So there's rules about this. To be perfectly clear, we think every level-headed civilian American should own a gun. That's okay as long as you were willing to be safe and you train with it. However, when you go to a gun store, keep it holstered, right? You don't want to be pulling the guns out. New people kind of think that's okay. Even some veterans have come in and have pulled their loaded guns out of gun store. So that's a big no-no. If you need to, you talk to the person behind the counter, you explain in very clear detail what you want to do, and let them give you permission to pull the loaded firearm out. So that's a real big faux pas if you do that. You might get yelled at. So threat assessment is very, very fast. You don't have a lot of time, right? And so pulling out a gun in a store could end badly for somebody. You don't know what the intent is. And so we usually make a broadcast in the store, loaded gun on deck, for example, or I'm bringing a loaded gun out, so everybody knows what's going on. And that's just a way that we at Cobra communicate to everybody in the store that everybody feels safe and comfortable. Don't point a gun at anybody. So we use the old Marine Corps adage, treat, never, keep. You can look it up if you're interested. So we do that to make sure everybody's safe and sound, right? When you come to the gun store, you don't need to have training. We don't expect you to know anything when you come in. That's our job, is to make sure you do. And we'll ask you the right questions, hopefully. And if not, you can always ask us more questions. We're helpful, and we're going to work with you on everything. Don't be a know-it-all. That's a big deal for us. Like, don't think you know it all. It's okay. Nobody knows everything. We want you to come in and be welcome like family, or maybe better than family. And depending on where your family comes from, just be normal and talk to us and let us know what's going on and how we can help you, what you're interested in. Be relaxed. Don't be upset. Some people get tense. They're nervous. Don't need to be nervous. Yeah. We're very welcoming. And then sign up for some training immediately. I would you don't need to buy the gun first, but you could go get training. Some places do that. We'll allow you to use a couple guns that we own. To train with us if that's the case. The issue that we see from other people that come into our store and they'll explain situations that they got at other gun stores, they might have got sold a gun that they can't use, literally cannot use. I've had clients that can't pull the trigger on a gun, and that's a problem. Yeah. And then I've had people that can't rack the slide on a semi-auto, or can't open the door of the cylinder on a revolver, and these are problems that you need to resolve before you buy the gun. So there is some benefit to going to shoot a few guns if you're interested in them. And then we do have a rental on those. They're very inexpensive, honestly, to do that, because we have to clean the guns, and so that's basically what that covers. Yeah. A little bit of wear and tear on the gun. But if you did buy a gun, and hopefully the person who sold you the gun worked with you before and got you the gun that you can actually manipulate, we'll have you manipulate the gun in the store before we sell it to you. That's what we do. Yeah. And then you can sign up for a training and just go where you feel comfortable. You don't have to be a Cobra. We just feel like we're good, and we listen to other training instructors too, and we have no problem going to other training instructors. We like to have a no ego policy. Mm-hmm. I think that's a real big deal for us. Wow. So, yep. I hope I answered your question.
That was perfect. Yeah, that's good.
I love that. That's awesome. Cobra Tactical, go out, check them out here in Santa Clarita Valley. You can also find them online. You're everywhere, Eric. You're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Everywhere is Cobra Tactical. Facebook, Cobra Easy. Tactical Firearms. Make it very simple, and cobratactical.com. So if you want to shoot them an email, do that. contact@cobratactical.com. Eric, thank you so much for joining us on the Advice First podcast.
Thank you for having me on the show today. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.